Thanks for staying with us at Asset Television. Welcome to the news at this hour. I am Emanuela Akwaya. First, the headlines. President Tinubu urges for global value in mining sector. Cnpp demands sack of fake agency proponents. 104 soldiers missing from frontline. Now the news in detail. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu says Nigeria must move beyond exporting raw minerals to building a globally competitive, value-added mining industry. He stated this while commissioning the Diamond New Energy Lithium Processing Project in Nasarawa State.
The president, who was represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, said the project reflects growing investor confidence in Nigeria's economy and the ongoing reforms of the Tinubu's administration, describing it as a major milestone in the country's drive for economic diversification. According to President Tinubu, minerals alone cannot transform a nation unless they are backed by sound policies, strong institutions, technology, and productive investments. The president also added that the solid minerals sector occupies a strategic position in the federal government's economic agenda, especially as lithium has become a critical mineral for electric vehicles, renewable energy storage, and the global energy transition. He commended the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, for implementing reforms that have improved investor confidence and repositioned the sector for sustainable growth.
Statistics does not create jobs, and mineral maps do not transform the lives of young Nigerians. What changes a nation is a deliberate movement from extraction to processing, from potential to production, from raw materials to value-added goods, and from isolated investments to integrated industrial ecosystems. That is why this occasion matters.
Minister of Solid Minerals Development Dele Alake said the Diamond New Energy Project demonstrates the government's reforms are yielding results by attracting investors and industries processing minerals locally, create skilled jobs, and strengthen Nigeria's industrial base.
We also have, on the flip side, there are other countries without a single natural resource, but who are today in the first world of development. You can mention countries like Taiwan, even China. China is old. You can mention Singapore, Japan, and such other countries that don't have a single natural resource. But the most important factor of economics, which most people don't appreciate or realize, is the human being, is the human factor. You can have the technology, you can have the natural resources, you can have the land, even the capital, the money. But if you have an absence of the right mental capacity in the human beings that habitate that society, it will be zero. All those factors will come to naught.
He expressed confidence that the new project will boost employment, expand industrial capacity, and further establish Nigeria as Africa's leading destination for responsible mining and value-added mineral investments. Mania OCB, Asset Television News.
The Nigerian Army has declared 104 soldiers attached to the 162 Amphibious Battalion along the Madara-Buratai Road in Borno State went missing with their service rifles following a deadly terror attack on their base early in June 2026.
Reports say precisely on 5th June 2026, insurgents suspected to be members of Islamic State West Africa Province, ISWAP, launched an overnight attack on the soldiers at their base. Some other sources have it that the terrorists took advantage of the heavy downpour and poor visibility to launch the assault, killing some soldiers and injured several others severely. The army confirmed the attack, clarifying that those killed included 5 soldiers and 3 members of the Civilian Joint Task Force (CJTF). According to an army document obtained by journalists, indicates that the soldiers allegedly absconded from their duty post on 5th June 2026 with their personal rifles after terrorists attacked their location. The army signal, signed by Lieutenant F.I. Ndubisi, stated that Idris Mohammed, a staff sergeant, and 103 others absconded from their place of deployment to an unknown destination with their personal weapons after the attack. Another military source says the military formations nationwide have been notified to apprehend and hand over the affected personnel found within their areas of responsibility. It added that their bank accounts of the 104 soldiers have been frozen pending their arrest. According to the document, those declared deserters comprise 1 staff sergeant, 3 sergeants, 7 corporals, 38 lance corporals, and 55 private soldiers. As at the time of filing this report, the army had not issued an official public statement on the declaration of the 104 soldiers as deserters. Army spokesperson Colonel Apollonia Anele could not be reached as she did not respond to calls and messages seeking clarification and comments on the matter. Mania Osiebi, Asset Television News.
United States lawmaker Riley Moore says the administration of President Donald Trump will closely monitor Nigeria's 2027 general elections, describing the credibility of the polls as a key issue for Washington. Moore, a Republican congressman representing West Virginia, made the remarks during an interview with Nord TV, where he said the U.S. government would pay close attention to how Nigeria conducts its next nationwide elections. He said both the U.S. administration and members of Congress will be observing the electoral process and its outcome. The congressman also disclosed that the U.S. House of Representatives was considering an appropriation bill containing provisions relating to Nigeria, particularly on religious freedom and future security cooperation between both countries. Moore explained that the proposed legislation includes measures addressing the persecution of Christians in Nigeria, as well as conditions that could affect USA security assistance to the Nigerian government. Asset TV will be back after the short break. Stay tuned.
On Mining Matrix with Mania, we dig deep on solid minerals, steel development, energy transition, global mining market trends, technology, disruptions, conflicts, and opportunities in this sector. Join me every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on Asset Television to discuss, analyze, and proffer solutions to challenging critical issues in Nigeria's mines and steel development.
Welcome back from the break. Opposition coalition in Nigeria are demanding the sack of President Tinubu, saying the inclusion of non-existent agency in 2026 budget is greatest self-inflicted embarrassment in democratic history. The Conference of Nigeria Political Parties, in a scathing statement on Sunday, the Cnpp described the controversy surrounding the purported Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council as one of the greatest self-inflicted international embarrassments in Nigeria's democratic history. The group said it watched with deep shock, profound disappointment, and growing national embarrassment as the presidency publicly declared the agency fake and fictitious, despite the same body being captured in the 2026 Appropriation Act signed into law by President Tinubu. According to the Cnpp, for months, one Prince Adeyemi Matthew allegedly operated the non-existent agency from office space inside the Federal Secretariat in Abuja, held meetings with ambassadors and foreign nationals, corresponded with government institutions, and even opened bank accounts, including one with the Central Bank of Nigeria. Documents later showed the same agency was allocated over 1.3 billion naira in the 2026 budget for salaries, allowances and a proposed World Investment Summit. The opposition coalition argued that a federal budget does not write itself and passes through the Budget Office, Federal Executive Council, National Assembly and Presidential Assent. The Christian Social Movement of Nigeria, the social-political arm of the church in Nigerian church, has called on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to caution his Muslim compatriots before they set the country on fire. The organization also cautioned the NSCIA to be careful about its comments concerning a former president of the Christian Association of Nigeria and the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, Pastor Ayo Orisejafo, for expressing the pain and anguish that Islamic terrorists have been inflicting on the church and the country. The CSMN was responding to what it described provocative and insensitive statements of the Nigerian Supreme Council of Islamic Affairs under the leadership of the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Saad Abubakar, which warned the federal government to act quickly before Muslims run out of patience over alleged persistent attacks, profiling and marginalization of the faith and its adherents. The CSMN, in a statement by its Executive Secretary, CEO Bosun Emmanuel, expressed shock that instead of being more civil, apologizing to Nigerians, particularly the Christian community, for the destruction that Islamic insurgents have caused in the country since 2009, a few years after a major change in its leadership, the NSCIA is alleging injury and offense as a supposed wrongful profiling of the Muslim faith. The Nigerian Customs Service has again reaffirmed its commitment to advancing intra-African trade by deepening its partnership with the African Export-Import Bank, Afreximbank, to strengthen trade facilitation, enhance customs cooperation, and accelerate the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area. The commitment was reaffirmed during a working visit by the President and Chairman of the Board of Directors of Afreximbank, Dr. George Elombi, to the Comptroller General of Customs, Adewale Adeniyi, MFR, at the service headquarters in Abuja, Thursday. The engagement provided both institutions with an opportunity to review the progress of their collaboration and identify new areas of cooperation to promote seamless cross-border trade and regional economic integration. Welcoming the Afreximbank delegation, the CGC described the partnership as one built on a shared vision of unlocking Africa's economic potential through stronger trade among African countries. He noted that the collaboration has continued to yield tangible results in customs modernization and trade facilitation, particularly through initiatives designed to harmonize customs procedures and improve the movement of goods across the continent. CGC Adeniyi further disclosed that the partnership will support Afreximbank's regional transit initiatives, accelerate the development of one-stop border posts along key trade corridors, and promote the adoption of global best practices to strengthen customs administration. He added that the service was already recording positive outcomes from the bank's support for regional transit systems and expressed confidence that the collaboration would further boost Africa's competitiveness and expand opportunities for legitimate trade. And that's the news at this hour. Do also follow us on all our social media handles for more news updates. On behalf of the news crew, I'm Emanuela Akwaya.
On Mining Matrix with Mania.